In a world full of rhino Republicans, here's one Republican that decided to stand out and show the world this bombshell leaked report. You won't even believe what I'm about to show you right now. Make sure to smash the like button right away. Let's hit the algorithm. Watch this. Let's take a listen to it together because this is crazy. Let me know your thoughts on this right away.
It is that time of year again for Rand Paul's Festivus report. Oh, I love this. He reminds us that, in 2024, we borrowed over $268 million every hour, $4.5 million every minute. That comes out to us borrowing $74,401 every second, which is almost the median income of Americans every second. And Doge, let's just say, you have a target-rich environment this year.
What about the support though for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill and no.
I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. Delete it. Delete.
That's going to be the word of 2025. I mean, but just some other examples that we need to delete. Just this past year, Rand Paul's office found over $1 trillion worth of waste. Okay, 1/5 of the money the government takes in was just wasted. Before we can even
$1 trillion wasted. Shout out to Rand Paul and this Festivus report. This is so eye-opening. As an American, I don't know about you guys, but I feel betrayed. See, I understand now why so many people are just ditching the dollar in the United States and going to crypto, going to different things that are decentralized and not controlled by the government. I don't mean to get out of hand here, but I got to say, a lot of people have been telling me, Lou, I can't do this. $1 trillion in waste. Have you guys seen this report? We need more congressmen and women like this to come out and want to work with Elon and Vivek and Donald J. Trump on this DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. This report is crazy, but it's about to get even crazier. Take a listen.
Talk about waste. We got to talk about the fact that this year alone, America will pay almost $1 trillion in interest on the money we already borrowed on the $36 trillion of national debt. This alone is the greatest case to not give a penny in foreign aid to any other country until we can afford things we have here in America that we need to spend money on. I don't know.
And what's crazy about this is that we got to pay taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, guess what? You can go to jail. But these people can misspend our money like no tomorrow. The Navy, U.S. Navy, lost $90 billion. This is Rand Paul's office finding all these things. I mean, this is crazy.
I don't know, like North Carolina disaster relief. But just for perspective, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, super successful, that has outperformed the market over the last 3 decades. That company's total value would basically only pay the interest of America's debt for 1 year if you confiscated all of its assets. Some of the easiest cuts right out the gate are the billions that really just pop up on the radar, honestly. The first one, of course, is out of the Defense Department, where the U.S. Navy, my people, okay, they spent $90 billion on vessels that don't work. Some of them don't float, can't dock, and don't do what they're supposed to do. $90 billion. These ships had cracks in their hulls. The transmissions were grinding their own gears to pieces. And if the crew went to fix it, too bad. The manuals were all written in the wrong language. Yes, the U.S. Navy had their owner's manual from a third-party contractor written in not English. I mean, great job. Anchors away, right? Imagine paying for a Hatteras boat, waiting, I don't know what they waited, like 8 or 10 years to get it. And then when it gets to you, you want to go on a fishing trip somewhere and it's been never tested, plagued with problems. You would sue that company and get your money back. But no, not the U.S. Navy. They just threw up their arms and ordered more boats. Let's see if those boats actually work this time around. And it gets even worse. We are still falling behind the world's production for 25 years. I mean, think about that, despite spending more money than ever before. Check this out, though. We also spent $10 million to maintain, lease, and furnish almost entirely empty buildings. And we've talked about this before, but when I say entirely, I literally mean that there are more people maintaining the building than actually working in it.
That's crazy. Because see, this makes me question too, is our homeless population and people being homeless and veterans being homeless, is this all by design, right? This is the question. Now, I think yes, of course, But it really does, with these types of reports coming out, I think this is why I say always share these videos, because this is an actual report from a congressman, right? Rand Paul, son of Ron Paul, legend, libertarian legend, by the way. These are the type of reports that Americans don't get to see. They don't get to realize why it's so important to vote for a guy like Trump. You think that like Rand Paul, one of many, but literally, like people in Congress and Kamala Harris and all these people, imagine if she would have won. I just don't think stuff like this gets out or amplified to this degree. We got more buildings, $10 billion on maintaining, leasing, and furnishing almost entirely empty buildings. Are these buildings really empty?
Think about that. Here's another one. The Department of Energy, the DOE, spent $15.5 billion to push America to electric cars. This is totally in addition to like other money for subsidies, credits, and the worthless charging stations that came at like, I don't know, like $1 billion per one. This is its own standalone like PR campaign. I'm sure none of that money made it into a special interest person's pocket, right? But the smaller payments that they hoped would get not picked up by the media, sorry, Swamp, we noticed. Here's a few that I said, wow, gee, we should probably sue these people and get our money back. This was hilarious. Well, if it wasn't my money, it would be hilarious. $108,000 to renovate a Caribbean hotel. I mean, that's bad enough, but not as bad as this. That bid for repairs was actually done in 2011. And only this year, the funds were allocated. But here's the catch. The hotel shut down over a decade ago due to disrepair, and now that bathhouse that was supposed to be repaired is flooded and has vines growing all up in it. But that money was still spent to someone. $419,000 to by HHS to determine if lonely rats will seek out cocaine more than happy rats. But why are our tax dollars buying cocaine for rats? I mean, they should have just repurposed the stuff they found in the White House, you know, since they aren't confiscating any of it at the southern border these days. The State Department, these guys, they spent $4.8 million on influencers in Ukraine, not here. While the State Department was on that roll, they spent almost $900,000 to produce movies in Jordan. State also spent an even $500K on a hashtag campaign, which was hashtag US Invest in Ethiopia. How the hell do you spend $500,000 on a hashtag campaign? But they figured it out. Let's look, less than 15% of Ethiopia has access to clean drinking water. They definitely don't have social media. And according to waterwellsforafrica.org, a foundation that does exactly what they say it does, the cost per well to serve 500 people is about $9,000. So instead of investing in a hashtag, they could have spilt 55 wells and had money to spare. That would have been water for almost 30,000 people that didn't have it before. But yeah, hashtag was more important, right? $7 million on magic projects, which included, hold your breath, $388,000 on a 6-episode season explaining what magic is. $250K for the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences. Now $94K for the National Science Foundation to study. Yes, study the magic school bus.
Man, is this real? This is insane. This can't be real. This report can't be real. The Festivus report is something we can find online if you guys don't believe this, but the Festivus report is just so crazy. Man, this stuff is real.
Talking about the children's book to study it. There's a few others in there, but I can't leave out the $6.3 million allocated by the Department of Defense on a Magic City Discovery Center. And to think, remember when all the libs got super mad at Trump because he tried to use a couple $1 billion of DOD funding to, I don't know, build the border wall? Like, I thought you had to be drug tested to work at the Pentagon, and apparently not, according to that allocation. Speaking of border security, we spent $2.1 million on it. Oh, not here. Actually, that was down in Paraguay. Okay, their border needs to be secure. $20 million on poop. Yes, we spent $20 million on turds. $20 million to advance fertilizer use in Pakistan, Vietnam, Colombia, and Brazil. Meanwhile, our farmers here in America are going out of business because they can't afford the cost of their own fertilizer. Who signed off on this? Trump should pull that person's pension like day one. 123,000 to teach the good youth of Kyrgyzstan on how to go viral on social media. Look, I can't think of a better use of my tax dollars. Like, aren't we proud as Americans? Here you go, Kyrgyzstan. Here's a bunch of money for going viral. I mean, good Lord. The Department of Interior spent $720,000 on wetland conservation project for ducks. Well, that doesn't sound so bad, does it? Oh, it was in Mexico. My bad. That's $720,000 more dollars than we spent looking for the trafficked children from Mexico. Something like 300,000 of these kids are just completely gone, missing. But ducks?
Yeah, we got about 300, 400,000. Some reports are 800,000 missing children.
Super important. USAID doled out $20 million on Elon Simsim. What the hell is that? Well, I had to look too. It's Sesame Street in Iraq. $250K to fight disinformation in Bosnia, $32,500 on breakdancing, didn't work out well for our Olympic team, $10K for drag queens to skate in a circle, $12 million on a Las Vegas pickleball court complex. You cannot make this stuff up. Pickleball? No. The National Science Foundation spent $288,000 to ensure bird watching groups have safe spaces. Safe spaces. How about you ensure people can take the subway without being lit on fire before you drop a dime on bird watching? Oh, wasn't that nice of them, though? Yeah, just light our tax dollars on fire. Just unbelievable. But at least one guy got something in return. Here, a dude in Florida got $8 million in COVID money, and he bought an island with it. I should disclose, however, he was charged and sentenced to 66 months in prison. Why don't the government people get that kind of criticism and that kind of punishment for wasting our money? It's unbelievable.
Exactly. Like, I just know so many people. Maybe there's some people in the chat that have gone through things where IRS problems or tax problems or problems trying to do things as a whole. Like, I heard the IRS, goes after people trying to. Well, I know because reports said that the IRS is trying to tax you on $600 that you send on Venmo or Apple Pay or anywhere electronically. You start sending money places. The IRS just is all up in your business, trying to see what you're spending your money on. Meanwhile, they get to spend all our money on BS and not get in trouble for it.
This is the stuff that makes me want to stop paying my taxes.
Okay. Yes. Oh man, I can't do that on here on YouTube. Man, I wish we just all would stop for a second. Let's just all stop. I don't want to go to jail. Just saying.
This is a drop in the bucket too. The federal government wastes more money than you and I could ever contribute in taxes. That's why we're borrowing so much. Because it's not their money. They don't really care. Just like how they voted on the last funding bill that holds spending at COVID levels. Because they don't care. And in a month, I hope they will. And I hope some people go to jail over it.
Yeah, these are the type of reports that I'm excited about. Why am I excited about these reports? And once again, you could go to Homeland Security and Government Affairs. You can look at this report yourself. Dr. Paul releases 2024 Festivus report on government waste. And you can see everything that the government has wasted their money on. Literally, all the highlights, everything. It's actually unbelievable, but it's a real report. It seems like it's not real, but it's real. Oh, it's damn real, baby. What we have spent our money on, $1 trillion. Overall, $1 trillion. Meanwhile, we got people suffering in the streets. We got things happening, but to them, they will never be held accountable for this. That's why the Department of Government Efficiency is the most important thing. That's why this department, hopefully, it exists and it's used for what it is supposed. I know it has a birth date and it has an end date, but I just hope that eventually, we can do this every, 8, 10, 20 years and just go through government waste and fix it up, because this is crazy. Shout out to Rand Paul, Ron Paul's father, Rand Paul, for this Festivus report, coming together and showing the world, showing the United States, specifically the citizens who pay for the rest of the world at this point, what the money's actually going to. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen, right away. Smash it. Sure to let the world know that we're here on the LV Nation, keeping track of what our government is doing all over the world.